Good morning, it's 8 a.m. I'm in Chilliwack Lake Provincial Park, and today we're going to be climbing Mount MacDonald. I've done Mount Webb in the past. This one sits directly next to MacDonald. You take the same path, the Radium Lake path, to get to the split between the two peaks. Today we're going to be doing MacDonald. Hopefully we're going to find ourselves in some scrambling, and hopefully we're going to find ourselves on top of MacDonald today. So without further ado, join me for the ride. This hike is really nice because it starts very gradual. It's about 3 kilometers of relatively flat terrain that's not very rocky, and you kind of get views that look like this. So it's just a really nice way to get you into the mood and into the actual atmosphere before you actually start making your real ascent. Now, any hiker can attest that these things just make your day better. They're just fun. So a lot of the first section of this hike is completely in the woods, which makes it not great for sightseeing, but pretty quickly on, it just opens up and you can see Williams Peak here. And you can actually climb that. You actually don't even need to really do any scrambling. There's a gully up there. You can just kind of walk up it. But it doesn't look like you'd be able to do it without some real rock climbing. This moment. You know, I don't really know why, but on a hike, whenever it seems like you're starting to approach a final destination, whether that be a peak or a lake, in this case it's Radium Lake, the trail just falls apart, you know? Like as you can see here in this case, it's just crazy mud, you know? And this little steep, muddy ascent is just so nerve-wracking coming down. You know, some cases it's just being overgrown. Sometimes there are just rocks where they really shouldn't be and you got to climb over them and things like that. But in this one, it's just mud. And, you know, you never look forward to going downhill in these sections. So here I am at Radium Lake. It's a very beautiful lake. It's got kind of a greenish blue tint to it. There are also some tent pads here. Didn't seem like anybody would be camping up here tonight, specifically because of how cold it is getting these nights. It was about 3 degrees at Chilliwack Lake today, so would have been significantly colder up here. Good scenery too, because we got Mount MacDonald just over my shoulder here. This section of the hike between Radium Lake and the peaks of Webb and MacDonald I think is really special. You really do feel like all of this land, all of this dirt, and all these trees are really on an angle, and all this dirt has slowly been eroded away from the peaks over, you know, thousands of years. It's probably one of the harder stretches on this whole hike, but overall, you got these trees that are just covered in like it's called witch's hair, whatever this stuff is. And yeah, it's a really nice part of the hike. Soft dirt on your feet feels good. So one thing I love about this hike is that, you know, I've been hiking for about 3 hours now. I've shown you the views. They've been good, but nothing extraordinary. Once you break out of the tree line, it gets real. Got Mount Webb, the big wall directly in front of you here. And then hiding right next to the sun there, that's MacDonald. And then dominating, I mean just dominating the skyline is Welch Peak, the red behemoth, tallest mountain in the Sheam Range. Camera can't really put into scale the vastness of you know, this red behemoth here. So I just wrapped up the final push to the saddle where the coal sits in between the two peaks. The final push has a lot of gravel, a lot of looser material. So you're digging in with your toes quite a bit to climb up and engaging with your calves. Don't really need to use your hands, but it's a little bit of a grind. Once you get to the actual saddle though, the wind picks up and the view opens up over Chilliwack Lake. We're going to be going behind me. It's a MacDonald here. So here I am at the top of MacDonald. A little bit of a rocky scramble in the very end, nothing too hard. Only thing challenging is that everywhere with shadow, there's a thin layer of frost making it a bit slippery. So that wasn't fantastic, but overall nothing too challenging. I got Rexford behind me, but just take a look at this view. And it wouldn't be the end of the hike without a summit brew. So I got one here. This one's a Steamworks lager. Thank you for joining me on MacDonald Peak here, and can't wait to see you next time. Cheers.